Wow, testing, testing, testing. Ha! Hoya to ho! And a marvelous day to you from my studio in Hanover. I've had a fabulous trip back from Atlanta to Hanover, and that's why I thought it would be appropriate today to talk about continuity in your vocal training, your development as a singing musician und als Mensch. Man kann das Musizieren vom Menschsein hundertprozentig nicht trennen. So if you've watched this before, you'll know this is one of the props I already used in Atlanta, and it made it safely back home without them searching my bag and asking, what is this? You can use it to toast marshmallows, to grill a bit of steak, or as you walk around your home as an opera singer trying to remain in training, as a weapon to kill somebody firsthand. If you're good with, if you know about Degen, go for it, practice YouTube videos if you don't have somebody für persönlicher Unterricht. Ich habe auch schon angekündigt, ich finde es wichtig, I find it important that I do these sessions in both English and German, weil wir alle parat sein müssen, wenigstens mit den beiden Sprachen entspannt umzugehen in Proben. In rehearsals, it is good if you at least know the basics of the other language, like Probe, I forget it as well, is a rehearsal. Ich möchte eine Probe haben, I want to have a rehearsal. But we are talking about continuity mainly today. I thought I should really, like grandmother used to say, ask you to take it very seriously, because the opposite of continuity would be apathy. Gegenteil von Kontinuität is Neutralität. Also, if you are not continuing with something, the opposite would be lethargy. Dieses Gefühl von lethargisch werden, wenn man nicht immer weiter arbeitet und lebt. Was nicht lebt, stirbt. Exactly like that, it happens with your voice. If you don't use it, or if you as a musician don't use your technical abilities relatively often enough to call it training, you might lose the ability or have problems when you want to start playing again. Allora, so now that I'm home, obviously I have many more toys, as some people would respectlessly say. How do you maintain your continuity as a musician? I have already introduced my assistant Richard. He's been traveling the globe with me for 21 years plus. I do funny photo shoots with him, but at the end of the day, something this small is enough to remind me every day that I want to stay in the job. He's waiting for me to practice. Sometimes I have had funny nightmares with Richard going, you haven't touched an instrument for 2 days. Was machst du jetzt? Bisschen Gewissen sichtbar machen ist gut. But as a musician, singing musicians especially, it's good to fetch your inspiration from practical things. Ich habe schon sehr viel darüber gesprochen, dass ich finde, bei Stimme einsingen soll man zuerst auch die Konsonanten einsingen. I have spoken to you and given you some exercises for warming up consonants. So, I hope the camera angle is acceptable. Talking about continuation, I suggest that you do the exercises that you are physically comfortable with in your daily routine. for example, while you are brushing your teeth, do a couple with me, then we can all get moving a little bit. Let's warm up a basic M. Pick your favorite note. Now we have a real piano. Meow, meow, meow. I always find meow, meow. It's the ideal way to hook in the voice, die Stimme einhaken mit irgendeinem Tiergeräusch. Meow, schneidet so schön da rein. Und bevor wir die Vokale nehmen, before we take the vowels, we have to warm up the consonants. So we get the feet awake. We find the balance, feet parallel, nice lines on the floor so I can see I'm straight. We go down, up on the toes, stretch all of that back, stretch, in that position down, hold on the one breath, put down the heels, and they're making sure that you are balanced, and up again, until they curl the toes as high as they want to go. Bad balance. Bevor man die Übung anfängt, nochmal von vorne, bitte gut das Gleichgewicht finden. Balance. Let's find a really mean consonant that's good for relaxing the jaw. Is Z, that berüchtigte stimmhafte Z. You're with me, one more round to make sure the feet are awake so we continue with the rest of warming up and talking about continuity. Z, z. Allora, if you are bored while I keep on checking, do a couple of those. If you have some kind of injury, one can always also do the exercise in sitting, or if you're too lazy to get up from the sofa. I forgot to switch on my mobile phone to check if anybody is writing me questions. Now I can see there aren't any questions yet. If you're joining for the first time, I sporadically check my phone to see if there are messages, and if I don't answer your questions now, I will do so after the session. Important when you're working out to keep the voice oiled. In rehearsals you won't have this much water, but working at home you can. And the joys continuation at home. I have my very professional voice oil. You have to find your own. Und jetzt ist die Stimme noch schöner und glücklich. All these things that we use as we travel and work, be it the vitamins you take or your assistant, or if you want to call it a stuffed animal, are important that you can, I think, relax and focus for the time while you are working on what needs to be done on a regular basis. On a regular basis is different for every single human being. You might have a phase where it's enough to work 5 times a week, half an hour, or you can even skip a day, rest of the time studying your music. But as long as you are aware, this is a body, and from after the 20s, once the muscles start disintegrating, we lose brain power. If you use them, they will stay with you for longer. Use it or lose it. Back to what I suggest as a musician we could use to inspire our daily training. This is, believe it or not, a recipe book called Death by Chocolate by Monsieur Marcel de Saulnier. And Continuity, dieses Buch habe ich in Südafrika gekauft im Jahre ungefähr 93. I bought this book while I was still working in South Africa in around 93 and brought it with me to Germany. Even reading a recipe book, I have marked the ones I like particularly. Zum Beispiel, for example, deep dark chocolate fudge biscuits. Now, instead of doing your ha 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 ha, boring every day the same warm-up exercises, please don't let your brain or voice get bored. We can use the recipe to warm up the voice. Let's say you go deep dark chocolate fudge biscuits, and then the next one would be 7.5 ounces or 214 grams plain flour. What I love about using this specific book for inspiration is that next to the recipe, I hope the camera can get this, there are incredible pictures of the fabulous bakery one should be making. Schon beim Lesen kann man davon zunehmen oder einen Zuckerschock bekommen. Also, this is just to suggest to you my ways to develop your personalized, maßgeschneiderte Einsingübungen. And as I promised in an earlier session, we should all be able to greet each other hoya to ha. So, just to show that I take my continuation very seriously in life, in Atlanta, I stayed with a friend who explained to me how to do proper weeding, and I got so attached to this instrument that she gave it to me as a present, and I'm now waiting for my quarantine to be over so I can go visit friends, so I can weed the garden for them. If you have a garden to weed, please do not forget my marvelous Hoyo to Ho warm-up exercise. You find the weed, get your hands out of the way, and you go Hoyo to Ho, ho into the roots. Hoyo to Ho, because we haven't learned the whole exercise on one note. Hoyo to Ho, and as you flip the weed up, throw your voice up an octave, or as high as it will go naturally. Obviously supporting, this is good for the body control and the stretching slow portamento when you throw your voice up the octave. And the next one, find the weed. You can even do this mentally to focus the voice. Have the weed, have the note, and kill it slowly. And going up all the time. Not just warming up the voice automatically. Nix bloß auf automatisch machen. Lass das gesamte Körper bitte mitmachen. And even warm-up exercises like playing Hannah, it is still music, and I maintain we should stay with that. Now, especially for our non-German singers, to make sure that you remember the exercises are out there. The consonants need to be used regularly if you haven't been using them since you were born. My favorite German consonants is sh, 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 like a cat would say, a CH. And the exercise I suggested, please do a couple with me while we open the chest. Comme ça. You stretch, bitte einmal nach oben strecken, gerade stehen, anhaken, hook yourself to an imaginary roof and pretend you are pulling up 200 kilograms of weight when you go. Ich liebe mich. And rotate up, and the same thing again. Now the idea for this is to help you feel all the consonants singing in the same direction, continuity. This is the best way I know to make legato visible. So macht man bei mir legato sichtbar. Man kann auch eine normale Eieruhr nehmen. The vowels, the consonants, all going in the same direction. So we recap. Ich liebe mich. Let's get something a bit more jolly. Meow, 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 meow. Meow. I'm a Kampfbaritonette, also we stretch. Ich liebe. Do you have the M? Mich. And the floor work as well. Continuity. One cannot address this question often enough. Man kann nicht zu häufig drüber reden, was man gerade anzieht, sei es auch zu Hause. What do you wear? It should be some continuity in that. It is very important that you always sing, prepare and work in your own skin. Now sometimes the skin is bigger or smaller. Ich war gerade in Amerika, dementsprechend bin ich größer. Es ist trotzdem genau dasselbe Wesen. Das wird nicht plötzlich weniger. You are not going to lose weight overnight. The only time I think one should call oneself fat as a musician if not every single cell in your body is making the music with you. Als Musiker meine ich, sei man nur fett, wenn beim Musizieren nicht jede Zelle, was du parat hast, sei es Fett oder Muskel, immer mitmacht. Investieren. Bleiben wir dabei. Also. We are into the continuing things in life. Also, this is not from jet lag. This is the toilet paper I bought as a souvenir that is now in Hanover in my studio. Und warum zeige ich euch Klopapier? I choose to show you that I have toilet paper as the everyday functions, eating and shopping. Please be aware that these are things that for free will be part of your development as a musician. At the moment, people having toilet paper or bread or pasta gives us a feeling that there is not quite so much to worry about. Worrying is life, and to continue, immer fortzusetzen, in Bewegung zu bleiben. Auch diese Sorgen geben Energie. Hauptsache man investiert alle die Sorgen in eine Richtung. Use your I am suffering, this is terrible in a direction. Be it to clean your toilet, or I have these great wooden floors, they need to be polished, and while polishing I can make sure that the rhythmical feeling of my whole body is okay. Now, talking too much about let's do this, let's do that, obviously part of continuing your development would be allowing yourself rest and relaxation. Ruhe ist genauso Bestandteil von jeder körperlichen Entwicklung, Wachstumsphase, wie auch extrem aggressive Arbeiten. So we've had a ruhig, we've had a little bit of, oh, she's talking. So I remind you again of my little triplet exercise to get the to get T's to land on your body and not be spat out there. I subscribe to the school of singing that maintains that every single should be part of the whole. Consonants that aren't part of your legato will bother the voice, and if the consonants are louder, completely louder than the vowels out there, it's kind of unmusical and bad for the voice. So let's do a couple of triplet exercises. Jetzt. Slowly enough, auch als Deutsche kann man das Wörtchen jetzt, triplet, Triholski, 2000 Mal singen und nochmal als Erinnerung, weil man das nicht häufig genug machen kann. Falls ihr akzeptable Kniegelenke habt, dann machen wir jetzt bitte hupf, 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 runter, hoch. Also, so einmal schnell, jetzt, jetzt, jetzt. So. Im langsamen Verfahren, nicht zu schnell. Nachher ist das Video gespeichert, dann kann man Pause machen und es 2000 Mal machen. Slowly for future reference, or you can repeat 50 of these afterwards. Jetzt, 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 jetzt. Jetzt, 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 jetzt. Und we have been doing exercises to try and keep the jaw relaxed instead of just doing exercises without any sound. I like chains of vowels while you are yawning. Just to pick your favorite note again and go, for example, better standing up or having everything awake. Any chain of vowels, trying to get them smoothly to melt into each other. Starting with something high like ye, yeah. And before we start, we should breathe. Out of tune. If it had been sitting properly, wouldn't have had any of those problems. I've also suggested to you the very simple method with the warm hands to feel all your vibrating cavities while doing, for example, this yawning exercise. One could obviously do it sitting down. To feel, is there any action there? Closing the eyes. There are our fabulous cheekbones. Da ist diese herrliche Maskenregion, das man immer wieder finden will, ohne die Stimme da rein zu quetschen. So, let's feel it. You feel it and you sing into those muscles with a relaxed jaw. And to find this J und diese bewusste J zu finden, what singt. To find it, it's better to think of it like an E, D, 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 E, 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 E. And the easiest way to find a good E vowel, if you can imagine a child calling for its mommy, even if it's too nasty, as long as nothing is quetching there, it's good for warming up. So all the cavities, I like using all 5 regions to feel the warm up. There is where the brain area is, the cheekbone areas, upper where the eyes are hiding, that under the cheekbones themselves, so you can sing against this, work against your hands. It costs nothing. You don't need to rush out and buy some kind of expensive thing to help you train these muscles in a very aware way. Use your own hands, and the area there where the jaws tend to get clenched and double chins develop as we get older, there you do the exercises again. And to consolidate everything, the 5th position is the face lifting position. And if you are very energetic, wenn du zu viel Energie hast, alle diese 5 Positionen nach unten. If you have too much energy and your back isn't bad, you can warm up while you are in the bent down position to stretch the legs. Oh, this is so great to be in my own studio. Allora, last time we also spoke very seriously about auditioning and how to get used to warming up while you are in a room full of other people. Wie singt man ein, während man in einem Riesenzimmer voll Leute singt? You should not allow their nerves to get to you. You should not allow their technical mistakes to get to you. their funny dresses should not get to you as well. The method I suggested that I think I should end the session with today, so you can do 50 more of all of these, is I'll play you a standard bit of Bach continuation. Was for me, Bach is the constant in my life. Bach ist der Konstante in meinem Leben. Wo ich bin und was ich mache. Continuation, Nebensatz. I keep on changing the topic. It's important to remain flexible as we continue through life. Find out what composer speaks to you. It doesn't have to be always, I love just Verdi or I love just Bach, but it is, I'm older, so obviously I've discovered this more often. For me, home composers are always Bach, and after I turned 30, Wagner as well. They're home bases, but I love other music as well. And the older one gets, no, old is bad, the more experienced one becomes, je mehr erfahren man wird, desto klarer kennt man den eigenen Geschmack. You will know your taste more easily, and even the music you don't like, you should be able to perform stylistically pure. Seeing that I'm not that jet lagged and I just saw the time, I don't want to bore anybody, I do want to start talking to you about basic stylistic differences. Now, this is a huge theme, and it is better to work under 4 eyes with a serious coach, as one cannot generalize too much. But, for example, I have here right in front of me a spot of Verdi and a little spot of Puccini. Now, when singing Verdi, die Schwierigkeit beim Verdi singen ist, häufig hat das Orchester nur pluff, pluff, pluff. Quite often the orchestra has dry accompanying pluff, and you have to make all the music. Du musst selber musizieren. It's composed in such a way that there are some musical liberties, but the structure is very clear. And the reason I wanted to start off talking about stylistic differences between specifically Verdi and Puccini is my pet hate in life is cheap portamenti, unnecessary portamenti. Thanks to YouTube, we now all know how the old great dead singers used to sing Puccini. Some of them were stylistically fine, some of them added portamenti all over the place because maybe they didn't know the style, or as they got older, they were not physically capable of singing properly and could sell the music still to a loving audience by slipping and sliding through oily portamenti. Ich habe nichts gegen Portamenti, wo die angebracht sind, aber bitte, bitte sie nicht benutzen als billige Ausrede. Eine Tradition. Traditions are good things to know if you research them properly. Please only call something an official tradition if you have found it in the score of the conductor, or when there are many things have been written about rizzi, possible cadenzas, or some knowledges have been passed on down the generations. I have been very fortunate to have studied with Maestro Carlo Franci, Gott hat ihn selig, that really as an Italian conductor of the old school, he always, with joy, made sure that Puccini, Verdi, Rossini, whatever they were, they had their own personalities. And jede Musik Bedienungsanleitung. I call it like a manual of instruction. So, here are the cheap examples of basic difference between Verdi. Now, this is a tune that we all know. So, while I'm playing this, little tune from the Triumphmarsch, the Triumph March from Aida. You can try melody with me without doing any portamenti. Do choose your favorite vowel, meow meow, and go with me, yeah, and to hook in the voice every time you breathe to another yeah. So we do a round of Triumphmarsch to feel what clean Verdi feels like without any unnecessary portamenti, specifically in this case. You have a one, ah. Another trick when singing Verdi, not just Verdi with the music, is very chop, 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 chop. If you want to get the better line in the music, instead of singing in four, just sing 2 beats in a bar instead of 4, and you should have better legato already. Into very simple. In Wagner we use it all the time. A very holy Wagner singer, who is also in heaven by now, she was too good for this earth, told me when I was a youngster, all Wagner is either 2 or 1 in a bar. Alle Wagner beim Singen ist entweder 2 Schläge oder, wenn du gut bist, 1 Schlag pro Takt. That I have only now understood, and I will share this with you. Way to do this. To have the feeling of Puccini, I have a spot of orchestral Manon Lescaut. Now, singing Puccini is not an invitation to add portamenti to everything inside. Oh mio babino caro. Puccini composed very exactly where he wanted the portamenti. Even his orchestral scores, they were really anally retentive bis zum geht nicht mehr. So, if you have the good luck to study a new role or aria of Puccini, do take the time and find a good edition. These aria albums are not always true. Go on the internet, there is our free scores, IMSLP, and look what Mr. Puccini wrote. Der war jener, der hat schon gewusst, was vor sich geht. Allora, and with Puccini, even these rubati, it's very much fun to conduct these operas as well, because the rubati, the pushing and pulling of the tempo, are an integral part of the music. Without these rubati, the music is dead. So, to illustrate the feeling of a Puccini rubato, I have this. There's, for example, there's a nice, jolly, and very abrupt changes. For example, the orchestra says, much dynamic contrast, and a new slower tempo. Moving the tempo again. I need to slow down again. With accents composed, and we start moving again. Only to slow down again. That was just a gentle illustration to warn you when you're studying Puccini. read the manual of instruction, the Bedienungsanleitung, so that you are prepared for the breaths on this roller coaster of rubati, changing tempi. And let's see if there are any questions. I don't see any questions. I'll read properly later, and so that you can practice your warming up while people are doing weird things around you. Also to have my daily Bach on my little Steinway. I will play what I like offering to consolidate everything. One half of the theme of the Goldberg Variationen, while you try to warm up your voice or sing your favorite aria. So I wish you a completely hoyotoho, healthy weekend coming up. And please write me if there are things you would like me to address, if there are exercises that you would like me to record separately. Bitte schreiben, erklärt oder vorgeschlagen hören willst. Es ist eine Demokratie. Ich biete aus meiner Erfahrung Sachen an. Und bis zum nächsten Mal. Hoyotoho. We all warm up consonants. Wir singen alle Konsonanten ein.